Hi, welcome back. In this lecture, I'd like to talk with you about an important subject. That is organizing your stuff. Because when it comes to one thing, Udemy is the best at generating stuff. I mean, producing a Udemy course. You're going to have images, you're going to have recorded projects, you're going to have TREC files, you're going to have this, that. So what I'd like to propose is that you get your act together as far as organizing up front, and we get that out of the way. You know, I sometimes think that producing a Udemy course is little more than shoveling stuff from one place to another. So let's go ahead and we'll look at how to make neat piles of all this stuff. First, I want to talk to you about directory organization. Now, Udemy, or not Udemy, I'm sorry, but Camtasia on my computer likes to save things in a directory called Documents Camtasia Studio. If you're a PC user, you're going to be familiar with this. Hopefully, if you're a Mac user, the installation of Camtasia Studio, or Camtasia for Mac rather, tells you what the equivalent directory is on a Mac. Anyway, there's no better place to start putting your stuff than the default Camtasia directory, whatever it might be on your system. Now, within that directory, I like to create a separate directory named after the course that the directory is going to contain information for. For instance, the information for this course is going into a directory called Udemy Camtasia PowerPoint, which happens to be the name of the course with all commas and ands removed. So, organize your directories in this way. Now, what do you do within the directory? I like to use camelback naming for my files. Let me show you quickly how that works, and then you'll more understand when I show you my directory structure. The first rule of camelback naming is capitalize all but the first word. That should say all but the first word. And the second rule is to remove all the spaces. So let me give you some examples. If I'm putting together a file name for an XCF file, which happens to be a GIMP file, for the lecture called Course Overview, I would call it lowercase course, uppercase O, verview.xcf. Okay. In the beginning would become lowercase n, uppercase T, the uppercase B beginning for a TREC file. Organizing your stuff would follow the same naming convention. This is called camelback naming, and this is what I'd recommend for your file names. Now, the final rule in organizing your stuff is to give everything the same name. If I'm putting together a course overview and I have GIMP files involved, I'm going to call them, using camelback naming, courseoverview.xcf and courseoverview.png. These are two common graphic file formats. If I have PowerPoint slides, I'm going to call them course overview PPTX for PowerPoint slides. Camtasia recordings would be named the same way, and you just keep following this naming convention for all the files that you put in there, and in this way related files will be grouped together when you look at the directory contents. Finally, if you have more than one occurrence of a file, don't sweat it, just give it a number. Like if I happen to have 2 recordings to produce a Camtasia project, I'll just put a 2 on the end of the name for the second TREC file, and I'm done. Now what I'd like to show you is what this all looks like once we come down to some kind of a browser of our operating system. Here I am in my Documents directory. And I have a Camtasia Studio directory. I go in there, and in here is a separate directory for each of the Udemy courses that I've created. I've given them each a separate folder. If I go into any one of those folders, like the folder for the course I'm currently recording, I'm going to see actual directories for some of the names, because when you save in Udemy MP4 files, it actually by default will create a new directory. So they're just directories containing MP4 files with a produced output, along with alternates of PNGs, TREC files, PowerPoint presentations, all named using Camelback naming so that they sort together when I look at a directory listing of them. So, begin to organize your directories early using the points that I've given you, and you'll be okay in the end when you have hundreds of courses.